broadcast of A-listers, another segment. This is a new series that I've started about reselling, and we are mostly going to talk about reselling jewelry because that's kind of been the thrust of this channel for about probably a year, even though I sell other things. But I should say, disclaimer, that I sell other things, and that these methods for selling, or basically principles, apply to anything that you sell. Absolutely anything that you sell, whether it's clothing, jewelry, handbags, shoes, even used goods as far as electronics or obsolete media, that kind of thing. Basically, they all apply to the same 4 tenets of selling. And that's what we're going to discuss today. But today we're going to discuss prices. And that's a really touchy subject for many people. Everybody has their own philosophy about pricing. Some people like the, what is that adage? Slow dime, slow nickel, fast dime. I don't know. No, fast dime, slow nickel. I don't know. Whatever it is, basically it means, do you want to have a long tail item? Do you want to wait on for your price? Or do you want to just sell it quick? And then, of course, there's other people that are contentious about it because they think that you're driving down the market, and that is very possible. But in jewelry, it's really more of one-offs and things like that. So there's a lot of other things that come into play. If you are new to the channel, guys, I hope you will take the time today. My glasses are loose, and the other ones had the lens come off. I hope you take the time today to subscribe, because I think you will definitely enjoy this content. We always talk about jewelry. We always show jewelry. We unjar jewelry, unbox jewelry. We have hauls. I show you what I want at auctions and so forth and so on. So I really think that you'll enjoy this. But then, as is the case with a lot of people who collect things, there comes a time where you want to sell them. And you don't want to give them away. You don't want to misrepresent them to get a better price. But you do want to be aware of things that other people have used to sell their items. And I have been selling on eBay for over a dozen years. I do sell on Posh. I sell on Mercari. I sell on Depop. I've sold on other venues, all sorts of venues, including Facebook. So I think I have some proven techniques that work for me. They may not always work for you. You may have a difference of opinion. Of course, those are always welcome. Please leave your comments in the chat, in the comments section. I'm also going to open it up, if we have time at the end, for some Q&A. I know I missed some questions last night, and I kind of forgot what they were, but if you want to repost them, go ahead and do that. And I know one of them was about a Jelly Belly that I sold, and indeed I did sell that Jelly Belly for $120, a brooch this small. Very excited about that, but I will bring you that in a selling video, which I haven't done one in about a month, but I have been selling things here and there, and quite a bit, and I'm in a rush to get them out to the customer, so I don't always have a chance to take a picture of them. But luckily, some of the things that I do have, I have pictured in the platforms where they're selling. Let me open a window and say hello to people that may be here. I really want to thank you for being here, guys. Absolutely anything that you sell, whether it's clothing, jewelry, handbags, shoes, like even used goods, as far as anything that you sell, whether it's clothing, jewelry, handbags, shoes. Do I have an echo, guys? I do. Sorry about that. Okay, Picky Chick, this and that. Kathleen, Just Sir Blandon is here. Vanessa, thanks for being here. Anita, I think, is up at the top there. Juana and Kim Cree, Jennifer, Esmer de la Cruz, Lazy Bones, Odelia Cabrera, Uniquely Meets there as well. Thank you, guys. First of all, I think this kind of fits into pricing anyway. Remember that necklace that we found from Kate Spade? Well, my husband fixed it up. I thought it was a bracelet. It was in 2 pieces. He fixed it up. So I guess now it is nice and done. It is a, light's way too close, kind of a choker style. And I do recall now that Sabato is actually probably some kind of Latin derivative for the word Saturday. And this is her line called Kate Spade Saturday. So someone in the chat told me this was a diffused line of hers. Didn't even know she had one. So that's really cute. See if I can find the form here. So this kind of plays into the first thing we can talk about, which is prices and how you need to know the diffused brands. A lot of the designers have diffused brands. I didn't know about this one until someone mentioned it. It's still gorgeous. Still very, very pretty, but it's not the Kate Spade, though I think it's unique enough that I could easily price this for over $25. I don't even know what the retail value of her items are in this brand, but I know there is a resurgence of interest in her items now that she has passed, especially the tragic way that she passed. So that's going to all play into how I price this item. And the fact that it's very well made as well. It's black. It's kind of blurred, isn't it? There you go. It's very, very well made. So definitely I would not hesitate to do that. But remember that there are tons of diffused brands. Vera Bradley, well, that's another subject. I was thinking of not Vera Bradley. What's the other one? The one that makes the wedding dresses and the perfume and all of that. I forgot her name. Gosh. Anyway, put it in the chat if you remember. But she has a diffused brand called Vera Wang. There it is, Vera Wang. She has a diffused brand called Princess, I believe. So she makes handbags, she makes jewelry, and that's not going to garner what her other items get. So you always have to remember that. And then remember in your unique factor, okay? Everyone has these. They're popping out like crazy. These statement pieces, they're popping out like crazy. So unless it's very well executed and it is a good brand like a Kate Spade or a J. Crew, I really wouldn't expect to get more than $10 from this. And that would include, of course, shipping. You could add on the shipping and say $15 shipped or however you think, because I've seen a million of these. I've seen them on Posh. I've seen them on eBay. I've seen them everywhere. Guys, I am going to open it up to questions as well. In a few minutes, I'll let you know and you can start posting some questions. So that's just, and even something like this, even though it's actually natural shell and everything, it's common. It's very common. Everyone has them. I wouldn't expect to get very much for it. I really wouldn't. Maybe $20 shipped. $20 shipped. But I wouldn't think, oh, it's natural this, and I think the rest of it is plastic actually. And think, oh my goodness, I need to get $50 for it. You may, but you may be holding on a long time when if you just look on eBay, there's a million of them. And I'm not exaggerating, at least 10,000 of them like this, going for a lot less. So you want to hold on to it, then you price it high for something like this. This is the same thing. I went around and priced everything really low on Poshmark and I moved some things. And then today I went and deleted them because I don't want to have, I just don't want them sitting around any longer. I'm going to put them in those craft lots we talked about. Here's another really common. I've seen at least 3 or 4 people pull one of these out from their jewelry jars. And I had it reduced up to $5, which only was going to get me $2. And it still didn't ship. It still didn't sell, rather. So I'm going to pull them and I'm going to add them to the jewelry lots. And this is the kind of stuff I'm going to add. Now, I do have this exact same one in a crystal color. And the crystal, hey, Granny Josie, how are you? The crystal color is more unique to me. It looks more elegant. So I wouldn't be afraid to put $15 with, $5 shipping. I guess, again, you take into account at Poshmark, they do charge the customer almost $7 now to ship it. So you want 15 and then, she's not going to do that. If she's smart, she's not going to do that because she's going to look a little bit further into the site and she's going to see that they're selling these a lot cheaper. She could bundle it, that kind of stuff. But again, the crystal one that I have looks like ice. It's the exact same maker, I'm sure. Looks like ice. It's probably a lot more neutral, more versatile. You could use it definitely in the evening with that crystal, that looks like ice or rhinestones, just gorgeous. So I would definitely price that one higher. So those are the things that you want to take into account. The rarity of the piece, the uniqueness of the piece, whether or not it's a diffused brand. I know I've told you guys a million times about Kors. Michael Kors was in his heyday 7 years ago. Everybody wanted a Michael Kors watch. You cannot give them away today unless it's absolutely, and maybe even one of the originals, because they started really getting shoddy. My sister bought hers at the store and she's had to return it 3 times because the rhinestone fell and then the dial up fell and this and the other. And it's just been horrible. And people are realizing that and the prices have plummeted. So just because Michael Kors made these fabulous handbags that everybody was, well, I didn't think they were ever that fabulous, but that everybody wanted to sport, but then it went into the counterfeit phase. Everyone was counterfeiting. The saturation phase, everyone had them. People want something different, so they're no longer doing that. Again, with statement pieces, this one we pulled out the other day, and we even washed it in that bubble, in that bath we did the other day. I titled it Bubble Bath. But this is very well executed. Really beautiful. The design is really beautiful. The metal is heavy. The enamel is intact. The design is different. It's more of a waterfall than a collar. It's not as common. Now, this one I would put up at about $25 or $30 because I think it's that unique. I don't even have a name on it. It has no Monet, no Napier, no nothing. It's selling merely on aesthetics alone. So this is what I take into account when I price. And again, we talked about Monet. If this was a Monet from the 70s, you would be pricing it in the hundreds. If this had the name Monet, it's got that beautiful ego, you'd be pricing it in the hundreds. But it's not. It's just a no name, but it's still got quality. It's still made nicely. And that's another thing we talked about Monet. It's not always money. We talked about that before. It depends on its rarity. It depends on its design. That's what's going to factor into your pricing all the time. And like I said, this one that we just pulled out from Kate Spade, I think it's so unique and I think it's very, very nice. So it's still got the Kate Spade name, but it is a diffuse brand, but the style is going to lift it right back up. So even though you keep going down with the diffusion, right? But you can come back up a notch anyway because of the design and because of the quality. It's very heavy, very well made, very well executed. It really is. So I wouldn't be afraid to do that, but I will caution you with this, and I have returned items and have a video about it as well. When it is a diffuse brand, be sure to put it in your listing and title because I return things that I think I talked before about Sharif bags. Sharif has a signature brand, which is their better items. And then they have the diffuse brand. And if you don't tell me it's the Sharif, I think it's called Studio, it was a handbag, then I expected it to be its top brand. And it's not. When I got it, I opened it, I returned it because that's not what you told me it was. Same thing with Moschino Cheap and Chic. They have a diffuse brand. If you didn't tell me it was Moschino Cheap and Chic and you just told me it was Moschino, I'm going to return it. Same thing with this Kate Spade. You must tell me if it's a diffuse brand because I want to know what I'm buying. And I believe Judith Ripka is the same thing. She has a diffuse brand for QVC, is what I hear. And then she has a more signature line that are at department stores or in her salons or something. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but that's what I've understood lately, from some videos that I've watched about Judith Ripka. So be sure that you know that. Another thing with the James Avery, it's not all money either. I was telling you about this bangle the other day and the fact that because it's a large size, I could probably ask a little bit more because it may be rare. Even though this is a common piece that is still available at the store, I'll be able to ask a little bit more because it's a larger size, because James Avery does make small, medium, and large sizes in a lot of their popular bangles. The little horse that was on here, I just listed it as well. It comes in different sizes. Therefore, it's rarer. Therefore, I can ask for more money for it because not everyone's going to find it. But if you don't know that, if you don't know that this horse comes in different sizes and you go on eBay and you're just, oh, everyone's selling it for 40, so I'm going to sell mine for 40. You really, really have to see. Yeah, it's still pretty expensive on QVC. That's right, Carla. But I didn't realize that she actually has 2 lines. So that's important to know. It's still quite expensive, and it's very nice jewelry. I have found some at Makeup Zombies. sale. Very nice pieces that I purchased and resold on Poshmark. So back to the statement pieces again. They're common. I wish I could have bought another common one here. This one I thought was very unique. Doesn't have a name either, but if it had J. Crew on it, you can bet it would get $10 more. Though it will sell just because it's beautiful and it's well made, well executed. Oh, I wanted to show you that beautiful grape. It came out so clean. And I did go back and put just vinegar on certain spots, and the verdigris is pretty much gone. I did spot a little bit left on one of these little things. I hope you guys got to watch that cleaning video because we learned a lot. But it really brightened up the whole pearls and gold and everything just with the little vinegar bath. I did take a toothbrush to it and scrub it all around the little cage pearls. It is so pretty. This is extremely unique. I don't have a name. I don't have an ego on it, but I will still price it at about $20 to $30 is what I would price this at. Again, if it was a vintage Monet, you could ask for more because you are working with that ego, with that legend, so to speak. So that's kind of the way you have to look at it. But don't dismiss things that aren't signed, because there's some very unique pieces that are just beautiful without a signature. Same thing with sterling. A lot of people seem to think just because a ring is sterling, let's say this little ring I'm wearing here, just because it's sterling silver, automatically they think it's valuable. Sterling is pretty common. The rings are very common on eBay and Etsy and the like, and Mercari. You can go and find bundles for $20 for 5 rings because people want to move them. So don't be attached to them as if they're so unique. If they're just a plain hammered band or something like that, you know, they're not going to get you as much as you think they are just because they're sterling. Sterling is almost as common. There's costume jewelry that's selling more than the sterling pieces out there because they are so common. But if you have a Yerman name on it, if you have Tiffany, if you have James Avery, of course you're going to ask more. And nowadays, what's the new one today? Zapata, that's made in Thailand. I'm very impressed with the Thai jewelry. It's just so pretty. Some of it is really, really beautiful. The John Hardy is made there. Then there's some that are just Hallmark Thailand 925. I would take a second look at those and price them a little higher because there is some very talented artisans coming out of there, and there's some beautiful items coming out of there. And another thing about that is don't fall in love with your merchandise. We all know that. We all know that. I have a bangle up right now that I could have already gotten rid of. I told you I have it priced at about pretty much the same price as everyone else, and it's been up there 2 months. So I really like it because it's the one with the heart, but it's actually hammered, and that's another thing that's unique about it is that the band around it is hammered. Everyone else's has the same hook on heart, James Avery, but it's not the hammered heart, the hammered bangle. So all of those things play into why I still have it priced a little high. But as soon as I realize cognitively that I want to sell it and I don't just want to sit there so that I can admire it and wear it again and you know, hold on to it. Basically, that's what I'm doing. I'm holding on to it when I know that someone wants to buy it for even $5 or $8 less. And it's going to sell. It's going to walk right out the door. Guys, there's 50 people watching. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up right below the screen. You almost have to leave the chat and go into the screen and hit that thumbs up for me so that it can turn blue for us. I really do appreciate that. So, and then another myth that I want to kind of dispel today is that you get more money on Posh for your items. Not true. I have found the best bargains on Posh. The best bargains for sterling silver. I even found that one with the elephant. I don't know if you remember. It's a cute little bangle with elephants all around it. Well, first of all, she said it was unsigned. I finally found the signature, not the signature, but the purity mark. I finally found it, and it was very, very hard to see. But she let it go for like $20. I think I made her an offer. I think she had it for $35. She let it go for like $20, but she made a sale. She wanted to sell it. Now, just because I have something from James Avery on Posh doesn't mean I'm going to get $10 more for it, because people are they know that you can go to eBay and find the bangle for $10 less. They're not that ignorant. And then if you put Monet up there for $20 and it's just a strand of, let's say some mother of pearl or some white beads, and you want $20 just because it says Monet, and then you may get 10 over on eBay, but you want to leave it over at Posh because you think you're going to get more. No, you're not. You're going to get more at Posh if you have designer items like Yerman and Tiffany and all of that, and not more, but you're gonna get attention. You're still only going to be able to price it competitively on eBay because people are checking all three sites. Believe me, I've had people come to me, not even when I was on Posh, but when I was on Etsy and eBay simultaneously, and people would tell me, "You have it a little bit more on Etsy. Can I buy it over here on eBay?" Of course you can. Buy it wherever you want. But that's what they do. They know what's going on. It's not just because you think it's all Poshmark and they're posh, and they are, and there are wonderful things there, very fancy jewelry and items, but they want a bargain too. And there's a lot of young people on there who want jewelry and they don't have a big budget, but they love it just the way we do. So please bear that in mind. Plus, they just recently upped their shipping. Their shipping is almost, I think it's $6.79 now, or even more than that. Really close to $7. And that's a lot for jewelry. Keep that in mind, not only for your pricing, but even listing it. Maybe you don't want to list it there because you're not going to sell it. It's going to sit. Like mine didn't even sell that I had for $5. I think I sold probably 20 items that I had for $5, and I just pulled some down. Like I said, I'm going to put them in the lots, and I also increase some prices, because again, you want to also perceive value, and you don't want them to perceive that they're not valuable, they're not worth it. So it's not the same eyes on there, guys. There's millions and millions of people using that app. So I'll get a fresh new set of eyes looking at them. They may not be 5 now they're 10. Or they'll be 10 for at least another month, and then they're going to be pulled again. And I'm going to just bring in fresh merchandise. What do you guys think about that? How do you price? What do you think about pricing to sell versus I want to make maximum profit? I'm inundated. I'm inundated with jewelry, so I am just happy to sell it. That's why I'm doing the boxes these days. The pearl bauble I was showing was this one. And it was the one I cleaned the other night, Patricia. It's a vintage brooch. It's articulated like a little grape sprig. It had a lot of verdigris. We cleaned it up. No name on it, but even the gold tone really sparkled up, guys. And the verdigris that disappeared, it's gone, but it could use a little touch up of the gold pen, which I haven't bought yet. I'm going to. But yeah, that's one thing that people keep perpetuating. Same thing with Etsy. They think, oh my goodness, it's got to be $10 more on Etsy. Not necessarily. Again, you have to ponder the item's name, the style, the draw, the image, the quality. Because yes, Weiss and Monet and Listener and all of that will sell. But I just sold a Listener bracelet on eBay for $34, and it had been sitting on Etsy, I think, for the same price, not much difference. I maybe changed them very little because I usually do free shipping on eBay, and I don't do free shipping on Etsy. But my maximum shipping on Etsy is $4. I eat the rest of it. I feel like it's a good shipping price. I really want the customer to perceive a bargain. You want a bargain. Why wouldn't they want a bargain? They want to see that, maybe it'll cost me $6 to ship it to California if it's a big, heavy necklace, but I'll eat that because I really want her to say, oh, it's only $4 shipping. Yeah, I'm going to get it. People look at that. I do. I look at how much you're charging me for shipping. So I think that's really important. And also, don't forget to go back in there and tweak your prices. Just because you had it up there for $20 for a month and it hasn't sold yet doesn't mean someone's going to come along and pay. It's up to you. It really is. It's up to you. If you have the room to hold on to your items for years, then do it. Jewelry doesn't take up that much room. I know that. But people also want to see fresh merchandise in your store. And Etsy is like any other venue. The more you feed it, the more you sell. As soon as you start feeding Etsy, you start getting more and more exposure and they start selling. So go in there and tweak it, even if it's only $2. And then go in there and increase it too. I do that too. I did that today on Posh. I pulled up the ones that were 5, a couple of the ones that were 5 that had excellent pictures, and I didn't want to have to take them again. I pulled them back up to $10 or 7 or 9 away from 5 because it's activity going on in your account, but it's also uh, more of a perception of value for the customer. But they want value not only in the item, not only do they want a beautiful item, they want a bargain just as you do. They really want to feel as if they're getting a bargain. And you can do that with free shipping on eBay. You can factor it into your price. It doesn't have to be completely free. If it's a $10 item, you make it $15 free shipping. Then over on Etsy, I can do $10 with $4 shipping. It's all a matter of perception. It really, really is. So if there's any questions about pricing, I'd be glad to take them now. Let me see if I don't have any other questions. Why in the world would you be scared of Etsy vintage discoveries? You have the perfect items for Etsy. Absolutely perfect. People are clamoring for things like what you pick up. They really, really are. That is the fun of Etsy. And I go there when I look for vintage James Avery as well. And I have paid up for them too, a little bit, but I'm not afraid to email them and ask them if they will go down. And they have. I found some very wonderful James Avery with people who said, okay, I will, and some of them ignore your emails, and that's okay too, but do not. That is the perfect venue for people who deal with vintage items and who are lucky enough to find those beautiful, beautiful things that you find is Etsy. If you have any questions, if you just highlight my name. Yes, you've removed items not selling, cost money to leave on the shelf. Exactly, especially with, I'm not even sure how eBay is working now. I have always put things on good till cancel, but they were charging me extra when they would renew. They've changed a lot of things since, and I did downgrade to a beginner store because I was paying a lot more attention, not a lot more attention, but equal attention to Mercari and Etsy and Poshmark. So I was selling on eBay, but I was not selling enough to warrant that $40 charge. So I downgraded that, and I still had things like for 30 days, and then I'd go back and renew them. But yeah, I think just the fact, if you don't have fresh merchandise, it really hurts your algorithm in all of those places. A lot of people can sit here and say they know everything about it. All I know is how it works when I do it. When I share on Poshmark, I sell more. When I list on Etsy, I sell more. When I list on eBay, I sell more. That's kind of just a matter of fact. Now, I have stopped doing sales on eBay. I really thought they were a lot of trouble. And as soon as someone knows, and I've done this too, I did it on Posh. As soon as someone knows you have a sale, they know you want to sell it. So they come in with a lowball offer. They do that on Posh too. So I don't do a formal sale that way. I have done the offers to likers and that kind of thing, but I prefer to just go individually into each one and reduce it. The likers are still going to get notifications on Poshmark that you just reduced it, but I think you have to reduce it by at least 20%. There's a percentage that you have to lower it for them to send out that notice, and they ask you to do that. But that's what I've been doing. I do not do formal sales anymore. It's a lot of trouble for me on eBay. There is so much on that screen that you have to click and move and put just to reduce something by 30% that I don't do it. I really don't. And then all I get is lowball offers. So I prefer to go in manually to each one and reduce it and then increase it. And I have sold things that were increased. I really have. So it's just a matter of playing with the items or doing bundles of necklaces, all of that kind of thing to move it. It's really important that you do that. Let me see if I have any more questions. Excellent, Sandy. Awesome. What did you sell on eBay? Was it one of your pieces? Wow. Congratulations. That's a great sale. I sold that that Jelly Belly that I pulled out of the jewelry jar the other day for $120. And I had, that's why I went back for it. Remember, I had that big rigmarole with that jewelry jar. I wasn't going to get it. I didn't have my discount till 3. Then it turned out I didn't get a discount at all because they now put them in that particular Goodwill as good brand new items, so they don't get discounted. But I had already seen that Jelly Belly in there, and I was like, I have to get it. And then I researched it really quickly. I did see some selling in the hundreds on eBay. I only looked on eBay. I did see some selling around 40, but they were different. And one of my savvy subscribers, this is why it's so important that you guys leave your comments, come back and read the comments, come back and watch the replay, because people that watch this later leave the most amazing information. One of my subscribers, and I will not name her because I don't remember, but I'll thank her next time, told me the feline was especially collectible. It didn't have to be a Crown Safari to be called a Jelly Belly. That what was really important is that it was a clear one. So I heeded her advice. I took some quick pictures. They were not amazing. They were on that little fur, what do you call it, sham that I have. But I wanted to get something listed. I wanted to list a lot that day, and the same day I listed it, it sold. So just be sure and do even a smidgen of research. Listen to people that know. Come on here and watch these videos about jewelry. There's a lot of knowledgeable people in here. I believe Tanya's in here. She knows so much about jewelry. April over at Bougie Bear, I don't know if she's here right now, but she knows a lot about jewelry. And what I don't know, they know. What they know, what they don't know, I may know. So we all are in a circle here that we can really learn from each other. And if we just take the time to listen, right? Let me take a little drink here. Yes, and unusual items sell. Like that Flying Colors necklace that Tanya had told us about as well. Those things sell. Religious items sell. Rosaries sell. These items right here, this is one I've showed you before. I thought these were the what's her name? Haskell. These are the Haskell that we cleaned up the other day. They came out really nice. And these probably, I mean, I wouldn't list these less than $35. And I haven't listed them yet, but I will list them for $35 on eBay, on Posh, and on Etsy. And I'll do that on Mercari as well. Mercari is a good place for vintage jewelry. But these, I thought these were because I had them kind of mixed up. These are just as pretty. They don't have the big ego written on the back, the big name, the big legend as Haskell, but I think they're gorgeous. So I may not do 30, but I'll do about 25. I'll do about 25 with maybe free shipping, and then 20 with the $4 shipping that I have tagged on almost all of my Etsy things. So that's what I would do there. Is just take a look at what sells there. Take a look at some of the bigger stores there on Etsy. Take a look at what they're doing that's moving their merchandise. Because you can go back, if you go to an Etsy page, you can go back to see on their sold outs, and you can see everything that they've sold. All of mine are there. And you can see what they got for it. So it's really, really important that you do that with your prices. Don't fall in love with the merchandise. Don't get too attached. You want to sell it, and not only that, it can bite you anyway. I've done that one time at a flea market. I had a beautiful tablecloth that was hand crocheted with that really stiff, beautiful starch that they put on those. Anyway, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to sell this one. I'm going to put a really high price on it. And I put like $80 on it, and it sold like that. So you just never know. You either want to sell it or you don't want to sell it. You don't want to sell it, don't put it up there, right? But know what's rare. Know the difference between retired and rare. Know the difference between a common Monet piece and a piece that is rare. And a lot of people are now using the keyword, help me out, Tanya, if you know, cataloged or booked or something, or pictured in book. There's a certain term they're using nowadays to communicate that it is listed in a book of rarities, or of collectibles and all of that. I forgot what it's called, but I did notice that on eBay, people are doing that. They really are. So now I'm going to talk, unless you have some more, a book piece. There it is. Let me write that down, Carla. Book piece. That's what I've noticed a lot of. I have a few book pieces in my Christmas brooch collection. I'm so excited about that. Oh my goodness, Sally, you will sell. You will sell all those beautiful. You sell on the auctions, so I don't see why you can't parlay that into Etsy. Start with a few pieces, but not too few. That's another thing you must do on Poshmark, and I believe Etsy, and they say it as well. Don't list one or two things. Go in there and list 20 things, because that way people know you're serious. Same thing with Posh, especially because a lot of young people go on there and sell their closet. And then they put two things and then they never come back. So when someone sees that your closet is full, your store is full, they see you as a serious seller. The same thing with eBay. And you don't have to start a store at eBay. I started one because I got really gung-ho about clothing a couple of years ago. And then I split into two stores now. So I have a fashion store and I have a rigmarole of everything, a potpourri, like a little flea market. And they both do well. They really do. But I did it so I could get the freebies. I could get, the discounts or whatever. But start slow. Get a regular eBay account. Get your Etsy store, get a cute little name. Stick with your name like you do now, because that way you can plug it on your channel and whatnot. That would be great, and it's a great name. But do not stop at least 10 to 20 items, and I think you'll do really, really well. And price competitively. If everyone else has it at 20, do it at 17. Or if everyone has it at 20 with $3 shipping or $4 shipping, do it for free shipping to try to move your items. It's as long as you're not losing. And again, you have to take into account people have personal attachments to their jewelry. It may have been mothers that they don't want to let it go yet. So they're pricing it high. You've seen it at garage sales where people say, oh, well, that's from Macy's and that was $25. And so I want 20. Well, no, I'm not going to give you 20 because Macy's actually just cleared it out for half price. But people actually price their items that way. They do the same thing with James Avery. I've seen so many of these bangles where people are trying to get $10 less than what I can buy it for brand new in the store. I'm not going to pay you for, and there's like 20 of them because they're all priced the same. But I come in there with a $40 or $50, a good, 30 to 40 to 50% off retail because it's used. I'm going to sell mine, and they're still going to hold on to theirs. Now, we were going to talk a little bit about auctions because I want to have one because I am a customer at many of them and I enjoy them very much. And I have started to frequent the ones at Facebook, and those are a whole new animal and fabulous. And I have just want to kind of have a little, what do you call it, qualification that I'm not being critical. I was asked at least by 3 people to help them with their auctions, not only to help them moderate, but to help them set it up. What's the first thing you do? How should they do it? What should they bring? And so I'm going to do that. So do not take anything personal. There's nothing personal here. I need the criticism as well. I haven't done one yet, but I know I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I don't want to make these mistakes that I've seen. Okay? Yes, you absolutely do need to get on Etsy. I've been telling you that forever, Sandy, and on Instagram. Do not let any of your items leave your hands till you have snapped pictures of them, because that can be your calling card. All right, so number 1 about the auctions is describe the item. Describe it as well as you can. Don't let me have to ask you questions because, well, yeah, I mean, there's questions that are fine, but simple questions like, is it Hallmark? What is the Hallmark? Is it 925? Does it have a maker mark? What is the maker mark? Is there discoloration if it happens to be a costume piece? Is there discoloration? Is there some kind of, metalware on it? If it happens to be an inlay turquoise, are you sure it's inlay turquoise and not enamel? If you don't know, say, I don't know. I don't know if this is enamel. I don't know if this is just the inlay work that the Hopi and the Zuni do, and show it a little bit closer. Get yourself a camera that focuses in on your jewelry, or come in closer. If I see mostly you, that means I can't hardly see your jewelry. So kind of just like when we square our photos, because, you know, we learn how to take photos and we block out the cat and the dirty laundry and all of that. Same thing with your auction, present that. But then again, don't put it too close because it blurs out, right? And especially these guys, I got to get rid of these. These are very good for me. This is the better quality one, so it doesn't really have a magnetized for lint, but this totally drowns out your item. Black, for some reason, just drowns it out. As soon as you bring it closer, it drowns it out. I don't know what it is, but black absorbs it. So I would stay clear of these and use white, or, you know, use, if you don't have that, use a cloth or something draped over it. That works too. A nice little silk scarf over it in white or something, or a tan, that would work. Okay, describe it to the T. What is around it? The stones, I can't see them. Are they green? Are they red? Are they white? Tell me about them as best as you can. What is the cut of the stone? Is it round? Is it pear? Is it square? Emerald? Is it bezel set? If it happens to be stainless steel and it is accented with gold, is it merely, or is it bond with, you know, rhodium or whatever? Is it, the term that I've seen used a lot and I've started to use it is gilded, because gilded can mean anything. It can mean, well, mostly it means that it's colored and covered. It doesn't mean that it's solid, because, for example, John Hardy does accents with solid 14 karat gold. Bars does that as well. Solid 14 karat gold is what you see in the little accents. Maybe it could be just a little dot, could be a little heart, but it is solid, and it will be hallmarked on the inside. Even if it's just a tiny little bead, they have to hallmark 14K on the inside of the ring. So that's what I want to know about that ring. If you don't have a ring sizer, get one. It's very important that I see exactly where it falls on the ring sizer, or that it's accurate, because a lot of people still don't know that, you know, a ring, it has to be where it falls at the very end. This one, solid 5. Just because it's a wide band doesn't mean it's not a 5. Let me see that. Let me see the back of the ring. I love seeing the back of a ring. This is the thing I hate about some places on Etsy. And I've asked them to let me see the back of the ring. I want to see if it's open. I want to see how secure that stone is. That's really important for someone that's going to buy from you. And sometimes sometimes the questions are missed. And you know, I was on a Facebook auction not too long ago. They didn't even see my question. Then he saw it later, and by that time, someone else had already bought what I wanted. So that's really important, that you just show all of that. Show it again. That's another thing. Many people will show it. I'll show it like this. Okay, I got a ring, $600, because this is a beautiful opal. And then they'll be thinking about what's next, or moving things around, and nobody has seen the ring again. People are streaming into your auctions. They're coming at different times. Some people may come in right when you open. Some people may come in 30 minutes later, or some people may come in 2 minutes after you showed it. Show it to me again. Show it to me constantly if you can. Keep showing it to me. And if at all possible, I've been trying to help Autumn Grace with hers. I want to help her with my voice. I think it's more important that I help her with my voice and describe it for her. Be telling people you're looking at a turquoise ring. You're looking at solid sterling silver. It's embellished with beadwork. It has twist work. It's a size 9, and constantly telling people that, because people are constantly coming in. Plus, what I really loved about the early auctions is I can go about and do my work, and I'm listening, and I can hear what's happening on the screen, and I can hear somebody say, hey, sterling silver bangle coming up next, turquoise or whatever. I may not have cared for the other pearl that she was showing prior, but I heard while I was over there scrubbing my bathroom sink that she's going to bring a bangle. So I'm back in the screen, and that's just the way I've seen it. Again, please don't take this personally. This is what I hope to do, and I hope to do it well, but this is what I've seen, is that the voice really does help. And then not only that, I think it helps with the confusion. You know, all of the brouhaha over the chat being faster than the voice and so forth and so on. So I think it's important to have both of them there, if at all possible. I understand your breath, you run out of breath and you get that sore throat. Believe me, I do. And I'm getting it right now. And I've only been on for, what, 30 minutes. But it's so, so important for me to keep seeing what you're showing me. If you can put it in a rotator stand like Sandy has done, fabulous way to do that. But I also am constantly telling Sandy, pick it up, Sandy, pick it up, because I want to see what it looks like. That ring looks huge on the tray. It looks huge on the tray, but when I put it on, it's just a normal size. So it's so important to have scale. When Casey was doing his auction with his mother, as soon as she put it on, it sung. I mean, it just, it was amazing what it did to the item. It looked beautiful on her skin. She has a beautiful long neck, and it looked amazing. And the bids went up. And it was being drowned out by a lot of the lights. There's something about the skin that really brings it to life, and it's important, I think. So putting it on quickly, again, getting a nice form that won't drown out the light. But if you can put it on, especially cuffs and rings, they really do play havoc on scale with the camera. The camera is not your eye. It does not convey the item as well as when you put it. So sure, Sandy puts it down on the thing, but I'm constantly telling her, Sandy, pick it up. Sandy, show it to us again. Sandy, tell us again about the color of that turquoise. It's really, really important if you want to see your bids go up. And I know now they're doing the Facebook auctions that I think April's going to start very soon as well, where they do that little board, but people go in there and say, please pick it up again. Please let me see it again. So that's really important, because they're putting them on price boards and things, and then they have wild prices and people are buying left and right like that. But they do pick it up. They show it to you really close. They describe it, and then they're moving on. But that's a different pace, okay? Please take your items out of a plastic bag. I cannot see through plastic. I cannot see the beauty of this beaded item. I know you may have 20 items, but if you want me to bid on it, take it out of the bag so I can see it. And once you showed it to me, don't put it back. Don't put it back in the bag until the bidding is done. I just cannot see it. You cannot describe it as well. You cannot convey the beauty of a piece when it's sitting in a bag. You just can't. You're hiding it. These earrings. Oh, I got 2 earrings in here. You can't see if they're articulated. You can't see the exact color. That's another thing. Please be sure and tell me if I'm looking at silver tone or gold tone. I cannot tell. I asked Sandy at least 2 times the other day as well. And I know she mostly deals in sterling silver, but she has had a few gilded things. And I could not tell if it was silver or gold. So again, these are criticisms that I have seen, that I hope to take to my auction when I have one, and that I, as a buyer, really want to see. I want to see it described. I want it out of the plastic. I want you to show it to me over and over and over again. If you're still bidding on it, if the bids are active, let me continue to see it. I need to convince myself to buy it. I really want to say, oh, wow, look at that shoulder on that ring. I love it. I love the way it stands up. I love the way they put a heart. I bought a beautiful ring from Miss Lori last night, 3 o'clock in the morning, guys. But it was amazingly beautiful. And she kept showing it close up. And then she talked about spinel. I didn't even know what, really the properties of it. I asked her to tell me about it, and she did. And I fell in love with that ring, but so did a lot of other people fall in love with other of her other items, because she showed it in its best light. She modeled it as well. I could see, that it was not a humongous ring. It was a beautifully feminine ring. But if I want a humongous ring, I want to see how humongous it looks. So I think that's about what I had about the auctions. Oh, one more thing. And this, again, is a pricing thing. But for a lot of people that are just starting auctions, I know that you paid money for it. And I know that you really love it and it's deserving of that price. But when you start at a really high price, unless you're absolutely going to come in and snipe it, and we know that that's going to happen and we love that. But if it's, hey, Wade Spencers, how are you? Thank you for joining us. But if it's something like this James Avery piece, if I know I can sell it for 40, well, I'm not going to bring it to you to the auction and tell you it's $40. I want people to have fun. That's what makes eBay so wonderful. That's what put eBay on the map, was the bidding wars that they loved. They were so personal. They were so incredible. I once went to a silent auction at my daughter's middle school years ago, and they had a really cute silent auction on the table. It was a pizza party. It was a whole bunch of cute little things for the pizza party. That thing went to $500. $500 because two women were at it, and they kept going back and forth, and one of them wanted to, you know what's going on in the news right now with college and all of that. You know how personal people take their kids, right? We were all just like, what? Are they still going up there? They bid it up to $500 to have a pizza party with all the little, frills and whatever for 7th or 8th graders. It was ridiculous. But it is what happens in bidding wars. And you see it also on eBay. And that's what's wonderful about it. So, if you want $40 for it, start it at 10 or like MSP. People jump anyway, but don't scare them off with your high prices. Unless, like I said, it's one of Sandy's pieces and, somebody's going to go in there. They've been having their eye on it all week and they're going to snipe it no matter what. That's different. But for a commonality like a James Avery or a statement piece, don't come in there with a $15 start price. You're going to scare people away, and it's just not cool. It's not fun. Bidding and auctions are supposed to be fun. So I think that's about all I have. I do want to make a quick announcement. Zombie's not going to have her makeup zombie is not going to have her showcase today. She's still having some issues with PayPal. We hope to get that straightened out really soon. I think it had something to do with that raffle she was doing and all of those $5 payments that were coming in. And you know how PayPal can be a little stubborn. I know they were that way with my husband. I've been selling on eBay for over 12 years. I put him on my PayPal. They said they didn't care. He still has to wait 20 days for his funds. So that's just the kind of precaution thing they do. I hope to see you all next week here at 3 p.m. Central. You guys have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful St. Patty's Day. Behave and stay home if you're going to have that green beer. But it was very nice. I thought it was a good show. Leave me some comments and questions for next time. If I did miss any questions, guys, repost them. Let me look really quick. Thank you very much, Picky Chick. I don't think I did get any other questions, but I think I'm going to start taking your questions if you can. Anytime we have this show, have you had any trouble selling carved bone jewelry? Okay, there's one question. Yeah, you cannot sell the carved bone unless you have all of the credentials to go with it. If you can tell us when you bought it for the ban and all of that. But I would be just very cautious about it. I would call eBay. I would call or email Etsy. They don't answer the phone, I don't believe. But I would get it straight from the horse's mouth about that because they're very strict about it. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Sunday.